So if you want to have an extraordinary life, you need to follow the path of least resistance. And this might sound a little bit counterintuitive, because you might think that the path of least resistance is being a sloth and being lazy and not going after your dreams. It could be that at times, but there's going to be times when you will feel a lot of resistance towards being a sloth and being lazy, right? And then you're going to do those things anyway. So despite you not wanting them, there's going to come a time when you're going to do the lazy action instead of the right action, the one you really want to do. Because sometimes resistance does not come in the form of a physical obstacle we need to get over, or like a strategic time required challenge, like setting a goal and then following through all the steps. No, usually it's an emotional resistance that you are avoiding. So you have to let go of the fear or the doubt or whatever it is, and then once you let go of that, you notice that actually was the easier path for you, right? So part of this is also letting go of all the dark, negative emotions, all your attachments, all that ego mind stuff. All thoughts are all lies. Okay, so remember that. That's the only thing you need to remember, that all thoughts are evil. And once you know that, it doesn't matter what the thoughts are saying about what you should or shouldn't do. And then if the thoughts are too overwhelming, you just choose to sit in stillness. You just choose to meditate, or you choose to be with God in God's presence, right? A lot of people misunderstand prayers, right? They think prayers are when you have to pray to the sky and about the things you want and speak out loud. No, prayer, like real God's presence, is when you are just still, and when you just let the mind run freely, and you realize that you are not the mind. You are the awareness that perceives the mind. It's not enough that you know this intellectually. You have to experience this for yourself. So and then you let go of all the resistance. You let go of all that which is not you, and then you will see clearly. Like you will realize that out of all these paths ahead of you, some paths are simply just easier to go through. They are more appealing. They're more compelling. They're more exciting to you. You are more enthusiastic about doing those things rather than the other things. It's something that could become profitable, but it doesn't feel like work. It's like your dream life unfolding in that timeline if you just follow that path of least resistance. However, that does require that you do let go of all that mind stuff, all the emotions, all your fears and your doubts. And ask yourself, what would you do if you didn't have any of that? What would you do if you didn't have any of that? That can give you a hint of what you should be doing, what your aim and your target should be. And if you still feel like, okay, it's still way too uncomfortable to do all those things, return to the meditation, return to the introspection, because that is your path of least resistance. That is where you can reap the most benefits and still get closer to your perfect timeline in a way. So it's inner work. It's inner work. I don't understand why so many people say that it's that inner work is just a waste of time, and it's mental masturbation, and it always comes down to doing the real action in the real world. No. It's once you've done the work inside, once you have let go of the emotions and the negativity, everything on the outside becomes easy, right? Because it's always an inner battle. If there's something you're insecure about in this world, talking to people, or usually it's always about people, isn't it? It's about interacting with people and being afraid of rejection, all that. But even that, it's always you. It's always your emotions you're dealing with. It's never the other person. It's always something inside of you. Now, when you're just being by yourself, you're still moving the needle forward, because when you're living a conscious life and you're meditating and you're choosing to be present, all those things come up in form of imagination, in form of dreams when we're sleeping even. And then if you stay conscious, if you stay present, if you stay grounded in your beingness, you're going to learn to observe all those things and let go of them. And you will never have to go through the same challenge twice. So if you can overcome the challenge within yourself, it's just by being, at home alone, essentially. Then when you go out in the real world and you see the same challenge unfolding in real life, you've already overcome that. So it's gonna look like you've done this 1,000 times. So choose the path of least resistance, and don't be afraid to put in the work alone by yourself in a way that seems unproductive to most people, in a way that seems like it's just mental masturbation or even escapism, right? Like people say, oh, when you're just meditating and you're just running from the real life and you're not, confronting things head on. Maybe some people do that. Maybe some people go into their imagination in order to escape reality, and they think that they're meditating. And meditation is not imagination. I've heard some people confuse meditation with imagination. They think that they have to sit and then they come out of the imagination and they're like, oh, I just saw this vision for my life, and I saw whatever. Like they see things. You're not supposed to see things when you're meditating. If you're seeing things, you're not meditating. You're imagining. You're dreaming. You're actually becoming more unconscious than you are in this reality. This reality is already a dream. So if you're dreaming inside of here, you're like on some Inception stuff. You're far gone. Okay, return to base reality, and then from base reality, just be present. That's all you need to do, and then observe yourself observing the imagination in a way. Sit in stillness and just see how the imagination, the visions, the dreams, the ideas, the thoughts are all just passing through you. And notice how you are not any of that. Notice how you are the one thing that doesn't change while all those things come and go. That is presence. That is who you really are. That is the state of consciousness you want to remain in as you go through your day. That is also, internally speaking, the path of least resistance. It's just being you. It's just being that never-changing awareness that sees everything come and go, both on the inside but also on the outside. Notice how, just like everything changes on the inside, everything changes on the outside. Your environment changes, right? Like if you just go through the day, it's like you have hour 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you're sitting at a cafe, you're outside, you're at someone else. It's like you're always somewhere else, and the environment always changes, right? But you are always the same, whatever you are, and a lot of power comes from that, because it's not only the path of least resistance, it's also the path of the most power, right? It's where you can have the strongest impact on other people, which feels, again, very, very rewarding. It feels amazing when you can see that people enjoy being in your presence. It's also where you have the most synchronicities and opportunities in life. And how amazing does that feel, that we don't have to actively pursue our goals and our dreams, that everything just comes to us when we choose to let go and be present and say that I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I know that I will if I just remain present. That is, I guess, the mantra that I live by many of the days. Sometimes I change it up a little bit, but But as far as like manifesting and attracting things, all you really need to do is set an intention, be clear on what you want, and then just let go and just live your life, you know. And and you know, and the mind is going to say, well, but that's what everyone is doing, and they don't seem to fulfill their dreams. No, that's not what everyone is doing. People are very identified to their thinking and their minds, and they try to control their life, and they resist letting go all the time. So most people, they follow the path of the most resistance, both internally and externally, and always trying to control the outcomes, always trying to plan things. And I like to plan things too, but I know that it's never going to be the way that I planned it. So it's just a thing that you do to get started in a way. Like you make you can like, or your mind rather makes a plan for what you want to eat for dinner, for example. But you don't know what's going to happen, right? You don't know if the stuff that you plan to eat is going to be there available. You don't know if you're going to feel like eating exactly those things at that time, and you don't know if there's going to be an opportunity for you to eat out because someone spontaneously invites you for dinner. You know, you don't know what's going to happen. So, but you can have an intention, and if you have an intention about something and you just let go, it usually comes your way. That's the amazing thing. I'm doing interviews lately, and I had this idea for a very specific interview I wanted to do, and I just didn't know how I could find this particular person for the interview, and I just said, I don't know, I'm just gonna let go. I'm just gonna bring my cameraman with his camera, and we're just gonna go out there and see what happens. And I just know that the opportunity is gonna come out of nowhere, and it did, right? So I'm just walking down the street. This particular person that I wanted to do an interview with comes up to me and essentially asks me to interview him, like out of nowhere. Like things like that happen, and they're just so random that you're thinking to yourself, well, this can't be just coincidence. Something else is going on. You're going into the quantum field here with your intention, and because you're remaining present, you actually have enough power to attract that outcome, and to send out the information through the quantum field, and things are arranging themselves. Or even more simply put, God makes it happen for you, right? Like whatever terminology you like to use. And either way, be present, right? Because even without those things happening, the manifestations, the synchronicities, the opportunities, even without any of that, it's still the best timeline to be in, right? So just because it feels the best, right? So that's just something you have to realize, that everything you want in life is just because you want the feelings. You just want to feel like you have those things you want. Once you have those things you want, you're actually not that impressed by those things anymore. Okay, you want the feelings. You want to feel a certain way. And when you are just staying present, when you're just saying, I'm just going to let go of the mind, I'm just going to be still, I'm not going to control anything, then you feel the best.